Kyle Koeberlein with Bluegrass Truck, Bus, and RV in Georgetown, Kentucky. I'm the sales director for the organization. We also have a location in London, Kentucky as well. But today I'm going to talk about our master agreement with the Commonwealth of Kentucky. This is an example of a chassis that we have here that we'd use for a municipal add-on county or a city for the most part. But we do have class 5 through 8 for our contract with the Commonwealth. And I want to quickly just kind of highlight some of the things that we put on these trucks that benefit some of the counties and the cities due to the nature of how they use the trucks. Well, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, but this particular truck is set up for a 10-foot bed. It's got the integral front frame extension, so International is able to do that as an integrated frame rail. It is not a bolt-on. That is set up for front mount engine PTO, which is awesome for this application with a front plow. And then we'll go around the truck. So one of the things you'll notice about this truck is there's a lot of chrome on the mirrors, the visor over the windshield, and of course in the grill here. That is actually a very beneficial safety feature. You got to think these trucks operate in undesirable conditions, heavy snowstorms possibly. You know, that is a reflective material. So if these guys are out there working and the public is out driving on the roads and their headlights hit these materials that are all chrome and shiny, that does make the truck a lot more visible. So it's not about making the truck look all blingy, it's more about the truck being very visible in the public, especially when it's working in harsh environments. I mean, one accident saved because the truck is that much more visible makes that well worth it. And you also got to think, on most of these trucks that we sell to, whether it be a county or a city, the replacement cycle is a lot farther out. And so I've been to counties and cities that, they'll buy a brand new truck and they'll run that thing for 20 years. So an example of how chrome is also beneficial is chrome is a very hard material, so a lot less likely to chip from rock. One of the other features that we recommend, which is available across all models of our trucks, in straight truck applications, is the self-cleaning aluminum steps. So once again, I mentioned that the counties and the cities are going to run these trucks a lot longer than, say, like a state agency would. The state actually runs these steps as well, but in the sense of like when you've got mud or snow on your boots, these steps allow that to pass through the step. That allows that to pass through that step instead of building up and making the step less stable or something you slide off of. And again, you see the stainless material, once again, for corrosion. Most counties and cities, especially if you're using salt, and then what few counties also use the brine, it's a highly corrosive material. And so the more stainless and stuff, the better the truck's going to hold up over the life. For what minimal upfront cost some of this stuff is on these trucks new, well pays for itself over and over again over the life of the truck, because you're not replacing components that are rusting and falling off over the years. This particular frame rail is our super single rail. We do not recommend, nor do you need to use a double rail anymore. We can meet the minimum bending rating of 2.6 million pounds in a single rail. This particular rail is also galvanized, and so it's highly corrosion resistant. These are actually painted aluminum fuel tanks, not steel. Once again, corrosion resistance in mind, so this truck has a long, happy life. Frame rail may look a little long. When we get them bodied up, they cut those down to the exact what length they need. Same thing here as far as corrosion goes. Aluminum cover over top of your battery box. Of course, so your battery box, your def tank down below. You also see that this is all neatly packaged up in this particular application. Gives us our clean CA for our hydraulics and other tanks that we need to be put on this truck for a dump truck. Another thing you'll notice too is aluminum fuel tank. And then you also notice stainless fuel tank bands. Once again, we're trying to get away from anything that can possibly rust. These are all options that we add to these trucks to give them a long life. These are Cummins powered. They're the Cummins L9. The Cummins L9 actually goes away in 2027, and so because it cannot meet 2027 emissions. So the L9 is going to be a very popular engine at the end of the year because everybody wants to get that technology before it's gone. We don't know what the new technology is going to be, how reliable it's going to be. You know, so it's kind of nice to get the last of what we know well before we move into the future. There's going to be substantial cost increases associated to the new engines too that come out to replace the L9. This is 350 horsepower, 1050 foot-pounds of torque, and it is backed by, well, it's got a 3000 series Allison transmission behind it. I mean, this truck is built and designed to do a fair amount of work. And like I said earlier, you know, we can order these chassis for different accommodations. We're doing one for a city right now that's actually going to be a garbage packer. I mean, I could list off 20 different applications that we can sell our municipal contract truck for each county and city depending on their needs. I've even sold a dead wagon at one point. We do a battery disconnect switch just so when the trucks are parked over holidays and weekends, that just saves from batteries getting drawn down, damaging them where they got to be replaced. You know, that gets costly over time. The green light up there is just an indicator showing that the truck does currently have voltage. Another thing that we like to do on these trucks, so number one workers' comp claim at the Commonwealth of Kentucky is the driver falling out of the truck. And so we like to have access points to where the driver can hold on to an external T-bar handle and then yellow interior grab handle. That yellow just makes it way more noticeable. Just right there in your face, grab it, hold on to me, you know, climb in and out of the truck. Our door is also capable from the door handle of holding up to 300 pounds, so that can actually be used as a point of contact as well when entering and exiting the truck. Another thing we'll do, once again, we're talking about longevity of these trucks. I've been doing these seats for a long time. This is called Medora cloth. It's a military grade fabric. It holds up really well. It doesn't tear. It's not real hot like vinyl in the sun, so it holds up really well and not actually too bad to clean either. Now you can't see this, but so the number one thing that we see as far as like rot out and rust that we on the cab side that we see is actually like, you know, these trucks work in dusty, dirty environments, and you know over time, you know, dirt and sand can get up underneath these mats, which is your insulator from the, you know, it helps with noise a lot. Also helps with heat from the engine, but it also so underneath of this, which you can't see if I was to peel this back, is the floor of this cab has also been Line-X'd to protect it from that rot out from the inside. Because what we see when these rust out is they actually rust out from the inside of the cab and out. You know, you would think it would be from under the floor up, it's not. Most of the rust actually starts inside the cab because of your feet and stuff shuffling around and grinding the paint down on the inside of the metal of the cab. We also, so your remote power module for your switches, we actually locate that behind the seat to keep that out of the elements. Once again, longevity, life of the truck, lower cost of ownership overall. Another neat feature that we add is a lamp check light. You know, you can click this lamp and then a guy can walk around this truck and it automatically cycles through left and right turn and all your different lights, so you can tell that all your lights are illuminated. It makes it an easy single man operation. Another thing that we do as an option is we add radio controls. You have, of course, cruise and stuff over here, but we also add radio controls to the steering wheel. Once again, let's minimize the amount of time that a driver has to take his hands off the steering wheel to keep his focus on driving that truck and being safe on the highway. From International, we also have a Brigade camera system that is installed. This does come with one camera. We can support up to 4, but it does come with one that we'll have mounted at the rear of the truck after they complete body installation. Unless a customer asks that they want it put somewhere else. I mean, if you want it put on the front, or you want, we can move that. That's not a big deal. Or if you want to, you know, add the additional 3 other cameras on the truck, we can do that as well. But that's all here ready to go. Down here, you can see that we have all, you know, 2 separate switch packs. That way, when we go to integrate, all the controls for the plow and the spreaders and that kind of stuff, that it's all already there to go through International's Diamond Logic system. We've also got indicator lights that we'll use for stuff like body up. Up here we have our air filter minder for any air restriction on the engine. And then I'm not reading a script or anything, so I'm just kind of going through this. Another thing you'll notice is that we actually have a heated windshield in this, which the new heated windshield for this year not only comes down the left side, goes across the bottom, but also goes up the right side. And then also due to this particular truck will be, you know, used in winter storm situations, The mirrors, the flat glass mirrors and the hood mirrors are actually heated as well. We also have a integrated plow light switch. Well, somewhere. There it is, plow light switch right there. So that's integrated into the truck with a harness out front for the plow lights. This truck is also equipped with locking differentials in the rear. Of course, you can disable traction control. Here's your heated windshield button, and of course your climate control. But that's just kind of a quick overview of this particular chassis and some of the features that we do. Probably the number one thing that we want to try to do when we're building these trucks for counties and cities is, safety of the public is number one. And then number two is the fact that, we know most cities and counties just don't replace their trucks on a 5-year or 7-year basis. It's 15, 20 years. And so that corrosion aspect is a huge, value to the counties and the cities. I can't tell you how many trucks I've gone to go look at a county that have double rail, and you can we'll lift up the dump body and we'll go look underneath the truck, and you'll have that double rail, and you'll literally see all this rust. And I've actually seen a truck at one county where the rust jacking had actually caused the outer rail to actually split. And so the Commonwealth of Kentucky no longer runs double rail on single or tandem axle. For tandem axle, we actually have a mega rail. Once again, it's got plenty of its RBM rating. I think it's like 3.2 million. That is more than enough. I mean, there was an incident many years ago in a different state that's connected to Kentucky, so I don't want to get into too much detail. But they had the plow trigger too tight, and they hit a manhole cover, and it did not bend the rail, but it did remove the engine from the motor mounts. And so that just tells you that we're not worried about bending the rail on this truck. Once again, my name is Kyle Koeberlein. I'm the sales director for Bluegrass Truck, Bus, and RV. I appreciate you taking the time to check out this vehicle and some of the features that we have to offer as far as corrosion and safety. Of course, once again, we can apply that to several different applications and vehicle specifications. But if you guys need anything or questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have an awesome sales staff here. So I'm the sales director, but our sales guys are just as talented and as smart about our product and happy to help with solutions that'll best fit your municipal needs. Thanks again, and just let us know what we can do.